We are on the afternoon break in the questioning on the third day of questioning of the undercover police officer, Robert Hastings, who, using the cover name Rob Harrison, infiltrated a number of groups, but more significantly, subjected a woman we're calling Maya to an unrelenting series of sexual abuse. This afternoon's questioning has been unrelenting, and it has been deeply, deeply disturbing. He has lost his temper terribly. I am joined off screen by Alison and Jessica from Police Spies Out of Lives. What have you made of what we've heard?
We're both a little bit in shock. I think we said this yesterday, but he's basically he's being presented with the Skype conversations between him and Maya from when 2014.
Yeah.
And they're very coarse. They're very sexually explicit, and he's talking repeatedly about wanting to come inside her. And that's relevant because he's denying that when they do eventually have sex, that she said, don't ejaculate inside me because I'm not on the pill, and he does. So that's why he's being presented with all this. But he gets very angry and says, "This is a public inquiry into undercover policing. What it feels like torture." So it goes to that thing again where he's the victim, not the offender, and Sarah Hemingway tries to explain that the reason she's doing that is because of this dispute around when they did have sex. And at that point, he then says, "Oh, so it's a bribe then," which sets everybody as a wave of outrage in the public gallery. And then he starts shouting at us in the public gallery, and we haven't watched it back, but what I remember him saying is, "You lot at the back, you all think this is a joke," which, as you can imagine, given that the public gallery is filled with women who've been abused by these officers and by other people who've been spied on, nobody in the public gallery thinks it's a joke. And shout back that we don't think it's a joke, at which point the chair calls it calm and says we'll be ejected if it is. So it's been explosive in that way. It's been very shocking. A lot of the women have been very disturbed and very upset by just witnessing someone like this. And again, we do talk about this a bit, but we don't talk about it as enough as perhaps we should. But it's about, we talk about institutionalized sexism and misogyny in the Met. We do talk about that, but we often don't link it up explicitly with the police perpetrators and domestic abusers in the police. The Centre for Women's Justice took out a class action, didn't they, of women married to police officers who suffered domestic abuse, and that's what we're seeing here. We're hearing details about how the abuse that he perpetrated on his then wife, and the criminal case that he was charged. And he says, "Oh, I pleaded guilty because I didn't want to put my wife and my child through the stress of a criminal trial." So he takes no accountability, and he is just trying to garner sympathy. It's a classic textbook case. You just think, any women's organisation that works with domestic abusers needs to use the last kind of 3 days of evidence as training videos, and judges as well. You know what I mean? Like anyone in the criminal justice system, it's like it just feels like textbook. So you just feel it in the room that how disturbed people are, how chilled literally chilled by it. It's cold, and I know we said it yesterday, dark, sinister, and malevolent, but it's a lot. It's a lot.
Yeah, I think you've pretty much kind of covered everything. I have to say, quite shaken up, I think, by that, and just listening to, his, I say not taking accountability, but blaming pretty much his wife, and it sounds as though sort of like one of his children stepped in to protect his wife, and the assault that then happened, and how it's everyone else's fault. He takes no accountability, and it is just it's not often that you get to see someone an abuser like that sit and be questioned and give no answer to biting back. He's rude, he's disrespectful, he is accusing Sarah Hemingway of trying to sort of make fun of him, and it's every single opportunity he gets to make himself the victim and to say how terrible it is for him and how, are they trying to embarrass him, and and then starts on Maya. I'm sat next to her. She's far more dignity than I had when confronted with some of the stuff that he said, and his denial and the way that he answers. Well, if that's what that's what her recollection is. He gave no single ground, but just saying, actually, I accepted. Yeah, I was a bastard, and the apologies are even sort of. They're very guarded. I'm happy to to apologise, but it won't do. There's no apology I can make. Well, yeah, fucking right, there's not, and you wouldn't anyway, and actually you haven't. Saying you can apologise, but you actually don't. Fuck off. I wish every bad thing to happen to this. I really do. If I had something to stick pins in. I would, but he's evil, and I think he is still a threat. If he has a partner at the moment, I hope there's a good support system, and I hope there's people out there to help her, because I wouldn't want to be in a room with this bastard.
Throughout, he has painted himself as a victim. He refused to take any responsibility. Anytime he does accept anything, he's couched in, I accept them. There is a possibility that it may have been that's the way that she feels, or something. It is just so the clauses are on clauses. It's appalling.
I think we said it yesterday. He went on from the SDS to be in counter-terrorism.
Well, first the Muslim Contact Unit, then counter-terrorism intelligence.
Again, like these so-called elite units, these are supposed to be people who get the secret stuff and are really protecting the public. I know we've said this before, but putting politics to one side, just the general public think the police are there to protect us, and particularly counter-terrorism, it is supposed to be the dangerous end of things. And here we're seeing another police perpetrator, another, it's maybe, I'm not surprised, but it's just, I hope that will be properly exposed.
Just here, we're going back in. We're going in for the Rule 10 questions. I'll do a longer video at the end, hopefully with more people. Thanks for joining us. See you all in a bit.